How's it going, YouTube? This is Skul, and welcome to my complete Nintendo Switch physical collection video. So as of now, when I'm recording this and the time this video goes up, I have a 100% complete collection of every single Nintendo Switch game that has been released worldwide. That means I have every North American game and every Japanese game. Currently there are no European exclusives. I'm sure that'll change over time, but for now I have every single game. So I believe the next game that comes out is Minecraft Story Mode later this year, followed almost this month, followed immediately by Splatoon 2. So I'm definitely getting Splatoon 2, hopefully Minecraft Story Mode as well. I would love to keep this as a complete collection, but there's just... it's going to be difficult, especially with a lot of games coming out in Japan soon that are almost certainly going to remain Japanese exclusives and are going to be pretty expensive, even over there on the store shelves. Like, there's two horse racing simulators coming out in September that are $70 each, for example. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be hard to remain a complete Switch collector. For now, I consider myself extremely lucky that this is the case. Enough chit-chat, let's go ahead and look at the games. So, starting off, we have 1-2 Switch, which was one of the launch titles. Oh, my camera's recognizing the faces. This is fun. This is probably the game that I regret buying the most for as much as I did. I got it on eBay for $33, and it was just way too expensive. For a tech demo that really should have been a pack-in, I really recommend you don't pay any more than $20 at most for this, and even then, only as a collector. This is, in my opinion, the worst game on the Switch so far. Not really that fun, no replay value, but I got it because it's part of the collection, so whatever. Next up, ARMS. I haven't actually played too much of this, funny enough. I'm so disappointed because it has this big dent in it, you can see right there in the plastic, not the plastic, in the cardboard slipcase. And that's because I think Amazon botched this when they shipped it to me. So, lesson learned, don't order from Amazon whenever I can help it. Actually, I haven't played too much of this, like I said. Hopefully I'll play more later, but for now, at least the option's there. I did like the Global Test Punch, I just wasn't that good during the Global Test Punch. The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, which is currently, I believe, the only M-rated game on the Switch. And this is the first edition print of it. Comes with all the stuff on the inside, I keep forgetting about that. It does have a reversible cover, so if you wish, you could flip it and make this go inside out. There is another version of this, another edition, the Unlimited edition, I believe, that has a blue cover. But I don't have that. And I haven't decided whether I want to get it or not, because I don't know if I want to go for cover variations as well, or just one of each game. I'm leaning towards just one of each game, because if I get the cover variations as well, then, well, that's not very fun, is it? Cave Story Plus. Played this a little bit. It's a nice strategy game. Very unforgiving, though. This comes with a keychain and the soundtrack and an instruction booklet, which is pretty cool. And the keychain is, I believe, a GameStop exclusive. I ended up getting this from GameStop when I thought the whole game would just be an exclusive. By the time I found out it wasn't, I had already ordered it, figured might as well. We have Cars 3 Driven to Win, and most of you probably didn't even know this was a game on the Switch. I've seen it in stores for the PlayStation 4, even the PlayStation 3. I've seen it for Xbox. I've seen it for PC. I have yet to see this in store for the Switch. I ordered this from Best Buy, and when I went to pick it up, they had a hard time finding it. It turns out it was in the back, and I got the only copy the store had gotten that day. So, ironically, I think this might be one of the rarest games right now on the Nintendo Switch. Which isn't saying much, because the Switch has only been out for, what, 4 months by this point? 5 months, maybe? Anyway, we have Disgaea 5 Complete, a nice little JRPG, which I absolutely love. It's very, very fun, very addicting. This also has a reversible cover if you so wish. I love when they go the extra mile and put something inside that you have to crack open and take a look at. It's more of an incentive to take it out of the shrink wrap. We have Has Been Heroes, which is a GameStop exclusive over here. I'm not sure about anywhere else in the world, but yeah, I haven't played too much of this either. Most of these I haven't played too much of because I've been pouring all my time and effort into Zelda. But this is fun. And if anyone wants to know, I open all these up, take them out of them, so because I do want to eventually play all of them for one, and two, the cartridges get me my Nintendo reward points, which right now I really can't redeem for anything, but it's mostly the reason why I do it. We have Just Dance 2017, which was another launch title for the Switch. I have actually yet to play this one at all. I'm not much of a dancer, and if I did that on camera, I'd probably embarrass myself. And of course, the best game so far on the Switch, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Oh man, I cannot tell you how many hours I poured into this game. It has to be 100 by now. It's just such a beautiful game. In my opinion, this is the best game of all time. And I don't say that lightly, but we got this beautiful picture of Link climbing the mountain here. There's the cartridge. Yeah, definitely my favorite game on the Switch. And if you were to buy the Switch in one game, I cannot recommend Breath of the Wild enough. Lego City Undercover. I was lucky to get this during a flash deal on Amazon. I think I got it for 30 bucks. It's a $60 game. Almost all these games I paid less than retail, thanks to various things like GCU from Best Buy, Amazon Prime discounts for pre-orders, and for a lot of them just waiting for them to get cheaper either on eBay or in store. So that's how I've been able to justify buying all these, is I've paid less than retail for almost all of them. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Again, another game I cannot recommend enough. Very fun, very addicting. If you've never played Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, then nothing to worry about. Just jump into this and you'll have fun. This is easily the best Mario Kart 8 game ever made. Again, I don't say that lightly. All the Mario Kart games have been amazing, but this one is the best. Puyo Puyo Tetris. Not much to say about it. It's Puyo Puyo and Tetris. It's a nice puzzle game. For some reason it's E10+. I don't understand why. It really should be E for everyone. Oh well. We have Skylanders Imaginators, another game I have yet to play whatsoever. I do have the Skylanders that came with this in the big box. I have the big box. It's on display in my game room. Really no other reason to own this game besides just collection purposes, unless you really are a Skylanders fan, in which case you really waited a while to get it for the Switch, didn't you? Because it was out on all the other consoles, I think, a year prior. Super Bomberman R. I played this a little bit. It's not that addicting, but it's nice to sit down and play a few games every now and then. And I gotta say, I mean, it's a little tiring having to open all these up just to show you guys. I'm doing it mostly for myself too, because I love seeing all the art inserts that some of these have. You know, some of them have completely reversible covers, and that one just had, you know, nice little art that you can look at. And finally, the final game so far released in the West, and it's Ultra Street Fighter 2: The Final Challengers. It's basically an exact remake of Street Fighter 2 Turbo, I believe. I've never actually been that big of a Street Fighter fan, believe it or not. That's what the game looks like. This plays extremely well on the Switch, though. If you like fighting games, then obviously you probably play Street Fighter 2 already. And this is a very, very a good port of it. I'm trying to think of the exact word. A faithful port of it. I also have a little odd and end here that I thought I'd share with you guys. I got the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild expansion pass, and this is the store display case that they have in GameStops. This is the exact case with the exact art, and they put it upside down, but it doesn't really matter with this. But yeah, so if you have have the expansion pass, may as well have a case for it, right? And this is just my own personal thing. I went to GameStop specifically to ask if they could give me the case if I pre-ordered it. They said sure, why not? And there it is. And it's nice to have it in my collection. It's not a completely separate game, but it's nice. So, what else have I got here? Those were all the games that so far have released in the United States. Let me go ahead and show you the games that are currently Japanese exclusives. Starting with Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2. And for the life of me, I cannot decide if this is actually getting a release in the West or not. It was listed as getting a release at some point, and then anyone who pre-ordered it got their pre-orders canceled. All the listings on every website was just completely removed, and the pages are no longer there. So, as far as I know, Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2 is going to remain a Japanese exclusive. And that's the biggest problem to collecting these games is, if you're going after everything but you prefer the North American copy, do you just wait and hope that some of these released in Japan get a release over here? So, in case you're wondering, this is a custom cover that I've made. I make custom covers for all my Japanese games just so I could see them on my shelf, see what they are. You can get a look of what the actual art looks like back there. It looks beautiful, absolutely stunning. The games play on an American Switch. The Switch is region-free, so if you can understand Japanese enough, some of these are pretty good. There's a few games that are released in Japan as physical copies, but in America as an eShop only exclusive. And basically the way it works is, if it gets released on the American eShop, then the cartridge will play in English, regardless of whether it gets a physical release here or not. So I got a game upcoming that is next, actually. I Am Setsuna. Again, custom English cover for it. The cartridge itself is in Japanese, but it does play in English because it got a release on the English eShop. Well, they got the beautiful picture there in the background. Almost all the Japanese games come with these little inserts. So far, this is the only game that is that way. I'm sure if any of these get a release in English at some point on the eShop, they'll immediately update and the cartridges will begin working in English. Until then, you either have to know Japanese or you just have to say you have it for collection purposes. This is a nice puzzle game that you aren't actually required to know Japanese for. It's Mina de Wai Spelunker. It translates into something like Everybody Party Spelunker, but it's I've been trying to get my hands on this for like 2 months before I finally got it. It was a case of bad pre-orders, an eBay shipping that got lost in tracking and transit. And eventually, by the time I got it, I was just so used to calling it Mina de Wai, I didn't care what the translation was. Got the beautiful background there. And this is a sort of puzzle game. It's puzzle platformer. I think the best way to describe it would be like a miniature Zelda. Kind of like Oceanhorn, which I'll get to in a second, actually. It's a nice game. You don't really need to know Japanese in order to play this and enjoy it. It's very fun. We have Nobunaga's Ambition Sphere of Influence, another custom cover. This did get a release in North America on the PlayStation 4, but not on the Switch, and I doubt it'll ever get a Switch release. If any of you played Pokemon Conquest, you'll know that this is a hybrid between Pokemon and Nobunaga's Ambition, and this is Nobunaga's Ambition, so this is the series that Pokemon Conquest is a hybrid of. This is a heavy JRPG, focusing heavily on dialogue, so it's very hard to understand, so there's not much fun in playing it, in all honesty. Romance of the Three Kingdoms 13. I don't know anything about this game. It's even more dialogue heavy than Nobunaga's Ambition, so I have not played this whatsoever. If anyone wants to know, the cartridges in Japanese do not work to redeem My Nintendo rewards, reward points anywhere else in the world. You're locked to the region that the cartridge was made. Even if it can play in English. Which is kind of stupid, but whatever. And then, this is my final Japanese game, and the final game to complete the collection. We have Seiken Densetsu Collection. And I believe the first two games here were released in North America way back when. I think these are NES or Super NES games. But the third one was never released. So people are really hoping this gets a localization over here, and that they release the third game in English, kind of like how Mother 3, you know, the rumor for that. I guess we'll see. But yeah, I'd say the biggest thing right now is trying to decide which Japanese games will eventually release in English. So like Disgaea 5 Complete was a launch game in Japan, but it didn't come out here until this month. That wraps it up except for two other things. I do have a few games downloaded on my Switch that do not have physical releases. And for those, I make these custom covers. Nothing special about them. And there's just these extra cases that Nintendo sells on their website. They're like, I think, $1 each. They're pretty cheap. So I just got a bundle of extra cases for whenever I download games, and I make custom covers for them whenever I download the game. And I actually have a big shout out, and my review of this should be up soon if it's not out already. I got in contact with FDG Entertainment, who made Oceanhorn, and are making a ton of other indie games that'll eventually be on the Switch. And they were awesome enough to hook me up to give me a review copy of this game. So that's the only reason I have it, is because they basically gave it to me for free. And on top of that, you know, all their games in the future, they'll be giving me review copies as well. So special thanks to them for that. I'll be sure to make custom covers for all those as well when those are released. And finally, the only other game that I've downloaded, basically the only game I have personally bought on the eShop so far, is Snipper Clips. And this is actually a cover that someone else made, and they just put out on the Nintendo Switch subreddit for anyone to use who wanted to. But yeah, this is a very fun game. If you can only download one game on the Switch that's not a physical game, I highly recommend this. This is fun, it's addicting, it's good for either yourself or with others. And that wraps up my Nintendo Switch collection. Like I said, the next games releasing are this month: Minecraft Story Mode and Splatoon 2. So yeah, I really have no idea which games are going to be the rarest in the future. Definitely the ones that are most expensive right now are the Japanese ones you have to import. Good luck with that. Otherwise, you know, the Switch is an amazing system. So far it has an amazing library of games. All sorts of stuff that you can just pop into the cartridge slot and play whenever you want, which is really, really fun as far as I'm concerned. So that pretty much does it. I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope it was at least a little informative if you guys were looking for a list of a complete Switch collection, or if you wanted to know what one looked like. I hope this was good for you. I think I've rambled on long enough. Here's the end card. Thanks for watching. Hi everyone, this is Skul. If you liked the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing. If you're already subscribed, hit that little bell so you get notifications whenever I upload a new video. That does it for now. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.